On Monday, we started developing a portfolio website in WebFlow for Benjamin Franklin. And today, we are going to add some sections to the website. And at the same time, some of us have sent our what we have been able to achieve in WebFlow to the group page. So we're also going to review it and show some corrections that I already noticed so that we can really fine tune our skill. Yes. So um, let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. So let's add some more sections to our design. First, let's add this logo, these brand logos. So what we are going to do is we are going to export everything. I already showed you how you can export assets and then import them. So I'm going to export this. I guess I should have just done this before now. But then I'll just be quick with it. Oh, I guess I exported to the wrong folder. Okay, still the correct folder. Samsung. Sorry. Let me quickly get this done. Adidas. And last but not least, yes. So let's go to WebFlow. And here we are. So remember how you're going to import assets. You come to the assets tab, or you just press J. Press J on your keyboard, and it's going to open it up for you. So I will come here, this cloud, and then I will choose the file. So I want to upload these images, this logo. So I have my logos added. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, we have two sections already. We have navbar section, we have the hero section. So one thing I want to do so that my designs will have equal spacing between the sections is to add a div and call it my spacer. So I'm going to add a div. I will call it spacer. So that div is going to be in between all of the sections, and I'm going to give it a height of I'll give it a width of 100%, and the height of, so the height is what is going to be the space. So I want to give it say 120 pixels, or let me make it 100. So now if I'm going to be adding another section, I want the space. So I just copied this and then pasted it. So I have the spacer. Now I'm going to be adding a section. I'm going to be adding a section under the body for this um these brands, like a brand showcase, the brands that I've worked for. So I'm going to call it uh, brand section. So I want to believe that you already know how to add div. So by coming here, selecting the div block, or simply pressing the shortcut A. When you press A, you can find your div block here. Then another way of going about it is to, if you are using a Mac, press Command E. It's going to bring up a search bar where you can find anything you are looking for. If I type div here, it's going to show me div. So if I want to use header or heading, it's going to show it. If I want to use, say, text, I want to use a text link or block or area or a rich text, then it's going to show me. So those are several ways of finding whatever elements you need. So now that I've added the brand section, I'm going to be um, so we are going to be adding inside this brand section. Now I'm going to add another div. So a div here, and I'm going to call it brand wrapper. So all of the brands that I've worked with is going to be wrapped inside of this wrapper. So that's why I'm calling it a brand wrapper. So now what I'm going to do essentially now is to add here again another div. Just watch what I'm doing. So inside this div is what is going to hold each of the brand logos. So I'm going to call this one brand logo container. I'm going to duplicate it. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just copy and paste 5 times. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So inside of each of it, or another way is to first, inside of this brand logo container, I'm going to add an image element. And then it's going to tell me to choose the image I want to add. So the first image there is Google. Now you can see it at the bottom left. So what I'm now going to do is to copy this and duplicate it 5 times. Now I'm going to open it up, and then you can see that everything is stacked on top of each other. Remember, if you want to change the direction, you have to come to the parent container, which is the brand wrapper. That is what is wrapping all of these elements. We want it to be vertical and not horizontal. So what you're going to do, select the brand wrapper, come to the display section, change the display to flex, and you can see, sorry, I mean we want the element, the logo, to be horizontal and not vertical. Forgive me, I always mix that up, vertical and horizontal every time. Sorry for that. So we want it to be horizontal, and also we want to add space in between. So if you check, like this is 108. So you might decide to give it, our own width. And then you notice that they are centralized. The wrapper is centralized. So looks like someone is joining. Okay. So the wrapper is centralized like we have here. So let me show you. Let me play this so that we can see. Nice. So you can see that it is centralized. So we also want to do that here. And let's go ahead and do that. So when you click on the brand wrapper, come to the display settings and change the justification to what? Center. Now we can see that it's centralized. Then let's adjust the spacing in between the logos by coming to the gap and adjusting uh, the column width. So if it is vertical and they are stacked on top of each other, you are going to be adjusting the row. But because they are horizontal and they are stacked side by side, you are adjusting the column width. So let's give it, say, um, let's say 40. So you can see that 40. And then another thing, if you check our Euro container here, we gave it a padding of 70. So let's come over here and give our brand wrapper what? A padding of 70 so that all of the elements can be aligned. You can see. Hello, is someone talking? Hello? Do you have any question? All right, let's proceed. So now I'm going to go over to each of these elements and I'm going to change the image. Sorry, before I do that so that we can see clearly, let me copy my spacer and paste it again so that this one can come up. So I will come here, select. So the second one is Nike. I'll select Nike. Come over here. Nike, Samsung, Apple. And we have Intercom, I suppose. And we have the last one, which is Adidas. Nice. So if we can preview this, we can already see. So it looks like the spacing in between is small. So let's bump it up. Let's bump it up to 120 and see what we have. Okay. Now, something is happening. Let's remove the padding from this. The preview. Um, so all right. Yeah. Okay, I think that was it. Yes. So let me go back on what I did. If you come here and you preview, you can see that the spacing is not aligning to what we have here. And that's because of the kind of justification we are using for the spacing. So if we come over here and we change the justification to space between, then we don't need a gap again because The spacing in between is going to be automatically given for us. It's going to be automatically given so that it aligns. And then what we need to do now is to just add our padding again. So when you add the padding, everything is going to align. So we come here. Remember, we are working on the parent container for the brand logos. So you come here, we are using 70, and here 70. So if you preview again now, you can see that everything is aligned neatly. So it's sort of an invisible straight line drawn. So that is alignment for you. So it makes your work look neat and presentable. Yes. So now that we've added this, let's ensure that everything is aligned to the center so that it doesn't look off. So you can see everything is aligned, neat and nice. And then we can proceed to the next section, which is to showcase, which is to let our viewers know, okay, these are the kind of services that I offer. So I'm offering product design, art direction, and visual design. So we're also going to do this. Let's go ahead and do that. But then it means we have to also export all of these assets. Let's design. And we call this art direction. We call this visual design. So let's go ahead and upload those assets. Yeah, somebody's joining. So um, now that we've uploaded our assets, let's go and call this section. Um, okay, what are we going to call this? We are showcasing our 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 job showcase. Is it a job? No. Whatever. Let's just give it a name. At least something you can use to identify it. So I'm going to go to body and I'm going to add another div. I will call this uh, um, skill section, because those are the skills that you offer. So skill section. Remember that what we are doing here is following a pattern. You can see nav bar section, then you have a spacer in between. You have hero section, a spacer, brand section, a spacer, and then you have skill. So someone who is coming, maybe someone who is going to be working on this design at a later time, probably is not me, and then you give that person a login access to your account. The person doesn't have to spend 1 hour trying to figure out the layout of your designs, because you have given it a proper naming. It makes it easy for someone else to be able to figure out the structure and the flow of your design. So if that person is going to be making a correction or a change, it is easy to do. So please, as one of the important things that you need to know is proper naming. I'll keep talking about it. Proper naming of your elements. And when I say naming, I mean proper class. Because when you talk about name in design, you are actually talking about class name. We call it class. So class is what you use to identify a particular element. You can also use ID, but in this case, we are not using ID. So what you are really going to be working with most of the time is class. So please ensure you give your elements a proper class name. With that, it makes it easy for you to be able to figure out whatever section of your design you are working on, and maybe someone else will also be able to figure out the flow and structure of your designs. Yeah, so let's move on. Let's move on. So skill section. Now, remember what I did the last time in our class? If you draw a rectangle across all of this, you can see that they are basically a box. So what you are working with is basically a box, and you are putting elements inside of it. Maybe you have a box and then you are putting orange. You are putting orange, you are putting apple, you are putting pineapple, banana, and all sorts and manners of fruits. So basically, that is how to visualize a website. Everything is a box. So see each and everything as a box. You can see this is another box. You can see this is another box. So basically, that is how you structure your design. So if you structure your design properly, if you are going to be changing it up in terms of maybe someone is going to be viewing your website on mobile, then it is easy for that person, it is easy for your design to easily adjust to whatever screen size it's being viewed on. Look at this box now, it is aligned horizontally, but when it comes to the mobile version, it is what? It is aligned vertically, but it is still the same box. So one of the things I noticed about some of the designs that were posted on the group is that some those designs are still struggling with responsiveness. So that is what we call it. Your design has to be responsive. That is, on whatever screen size, be it on desktop, be it on tablet, be it on smartphone, maybe portrait or landscape, it has to be the same. Your design should not wobble and then just look not presentable. So just a bit of an aside, I'm going to show you something from the design class that we have been working on, and I'm going to open a particular website. Not this. Okay, I think this is the one. Yes. So let me just open it here. I'll open it here and then you see what I'm talking about. So if I come here and I press function F12, I'm not sure this is going to work here. So just look at what I'm saying. If I try to reduce the screen size to say, let me adjust the screen size. If I adjust it, can you see? Can you see? So even though this is adjusting, but then, okay, now this is nice. I hope you all saw what just happened. Actually, I liked what happened here. So the design adjusted automatically to the screen size on mobile. This is mobile view. So if I expand it a bit, this is still okay. Okay, I think I like this. Now let me actually show you what I mean by responsiveness. If I open, don't mind me that I always open Apple's website. Like their website is nice, and it's just like a name that comes to my mind anytime I want to reference something. So let me just show you what is going to happen if I try to adjust my screen size. Just a bit. The network is kind of I don't know tonight. Okay, nice. So it's open now. So just watch what is going to happen as I adjust my browser viewport. watch, can you see that those the elements, can you see now? Now look at what happened when it got to a point. The mobile phone, I mean this phone images now started behind each other, like on top of each other. So, okay, someone is. Hello? Hello, can anyone hear me?
Can hear you, sir.
Yes,
We can hear
sir.
you.
Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Hello? I can't hear anybody talking. Okay, I think I. Please, you can type it in the message if you can hear me, please. I'm not sure I can hear anybody talking. I just need to be sure I'm not talking to myself. Okay, okay, thank you very much. All right, all right, thank you very much. So let's proceed now. So you can see what happens once I adjust my screen size, the images are now stacked on top of each other. And look at the, the nav bar. Look at what happens to the nav bar as I continue to shrink. Now, look at what just happened. You can see that all of the nav links are showing at this particular screen size. But then when I adjust it further, look at what happens. Just watch. Can you see? Everything has now been removed and grouped under this menu icon. So when you click on this menu icon, those nav links will now show up. So that is just um, a quick way to showcase to us what I mean by responsiveness. So let's quickly build out the skill section, and then we'll come back to the website that were sent to the group page. So here we have the brand that we have worked for. So Benjamin Franklin is actually a very successful visual designer. He has worked for Google, he has worked for Nike, Samsung, all these top dogs, all these top technology companies. Wow, he's such a lucky guy. I want to be like him. I don't know, maybe someone else on the call also wants to be like him. Okay, so this is always getting in my way. Oh my, yeah. So our skill section now, let's try and build it out. Inside the skill section, we are going to add a div, and you already guess what name we are calling it: skill wrapper, or you can call it skill container. I think we have been using container, right? Container. So let's just, to maintain consistency, for the sake of consistency, let's just, yeah. So inside of our skill container, we're going to give it a padding of 70 on both sides. I'm going to change it to display flex. Okay, so that you can see what I'm doing, I'm going to copy my spacer again, and I'm going to paste it. Yeah. So this is, sorry, I don't know. This is just, oh my, sorry for that. So inside, um, oh my, inside the skill section, the container. So like I said the other time, this is a box. So we are going to be creating 3 boxes. So let's go ahead and create them. Inside of skill container. So we are going to call it, um, let's create our div. We're going to call it skill. We call it skill. So let's just leave it at that. Then inside our skill, we have 2 sections. We have the top, or yes, we have the image and then the text. So let's add 2 more divs inside of this skill that img, standing for image, and then again say skill that txt, standing for text. So this should be inside here. Yeah. So the skill image, we're just going to, oh my god, I don't know why this is blocking my way. So inside of this skill image, let's add our image element, and then first click to upload. What's the first one? This is it. So, and inside of the skill text, there are 2 elements. We have the heading and the body copy. So let's add an heading. So this heading, we're going to make it H3, and then again, let's add a, should we make it paragraph? Just a text block. So let's quickly put in our own text. Um, nice. So product design. So, so what we're going to do now is basically we are going to duplicate this 3 times. Yeah, and then we are centralizing everything so you can see. So let's just click on skill. Now notice the importance of giving class name to similar elements. So if I make an adjustment to this first element, because the other elements have the same class name, the changes are going to affect burner. So I'm going to change this to flex. You can see all the three elements have changed, and then I'm going to change it to vertical. You can see that, and I'm going to centralize it. Nice. So look at our product to so skilled text. I'm also going to, let me see if this works. Okay, nice. I also centralize that as well as my text. So you under your text, you can just the typography, just come to the alignment for the text and then centralize it. Um, I suppose that should have just trying out some things and see if they work. They don't work. Nice. So just come to the alignment, change it, alignment. Okay. So let's add a space between the elements. So you come to the parent container and come to gap and change the column width to, okay, let's just do it this way. Let's give it justify space between. Now you can see that. So what we can see here is that the the text line is just too long for what we want. So we are going to give them space in between of 80. Now you can see that the spacing is getting better. So you can keep adjusting to your taste. All right. All right. I think this is better. So what next? What we have to do now is change the images. Just click here, select this. Now you can see that. So our design is taking shape: product design, art direction, visual design. So what else do we need to do? The spacing between the elements, 63, is not even. So let's give them, if you are using heading, WebFlow heading elements come with some default margin. So always try and check so that you can remove them so it won't spoil your design. I think they just naturally put it there. I don't know why, but then you just have to check. So that's the thing about them. So we're going to add our own spacing between the elements. So skill and the skill set. So this skill, we're going to give it a row now of 64. So that sits nicely. And between these elements, let's check the spacing. 19. Let's make it 20. So for this skill set, which is the parent container of both of these elements, so we're going to give it a row of 20. Yeah. So you can see that the spacing now is looking better. Now, um, something that we're going to do tonight, let's give it some margin, I mean some padding. So if you hold down um, shift and control, if you hold down shift, you'll be able to, and then you drag on the padding. You can give it, you can give all of the sides equal padding. So you can see that instead of having to enter the numbers manually, just hold down on shift on Mac. It works on Mac, so I guess it should also work on Windows. So hold down on shift and then drag the elements. You are going to get equal spacing. Now, let's quickly do something. So let me see what else we have. Okay, if we still have some time, we'll add this latest work section. So you can have a section where you can, or I guess I want to do this using CMS in Webflow. So but just follow along. Let's see what we can achieve tonight. So I want to do it in such a way that when you over each of these elements, it's going to give it a sort of a background color. We have not talked about it before. So it's part of the little interactions that you can do in Webflow. So for instance, let's say you hover on this start a project to give a sort of a visual clue to the person visiting your website that, okay, this link is active. You can add some interactions to it. But I won't go deep on that tonight. So let me quickly give this line width so they can be better spaced apart. So for this, now, this is what I'm going to do. So watch what I am doing. I have clicked on skill, and then I will come over to the portion here where you always give it a class name, and click on this arrow, and then it shows you the states. So at the present state, it is none. So what happens when someone hovers over that element? Then what happens when they press it? Okay, what happens if it is automatically focused, like maybe it's a text input box, and then you want a border color around it automatically. So these are some of the things you can do. So what we want to achieve in our own case is over effect. So when you click on over effect, it's going to add a default over class to the element. Mind you, you can also create your own over effect without having to go through this process in Webflow. So at a later time, I'm going to show you, or let me just do that. Let me do that. I think it's going to be better for you so that you know how to create it. Let me go back to none. So now let me pause a bit here and see if we have any questions so far. Do you have any question so far? Hello, everyone. I want to be sure that we are at least following, and if you see anything that's not clear to you, please, you can let me know. So do you have any questions so far? Please let's respond though. Hello?
I don't have any questions, sir.
All right. Okay. So let me continue then. Now you can give two class to the same element. So it is called combo class. That is combination. So for this one, I want to create a combo class such that when an action happens, that combo class will be triggered. So I'm going to call it um, over. So I've added a combo class. So once I add this combo class, whatever changes I do to this element will not affect the other elements because they are only having a class name of skill and they do not have the combo class of over. But if they also have the combo class of over, or you add that combo class to it, the same changes that you have done to this will reflect here. So let's go back here. So we are under over now. Now what we want to do is that when you over on it, um, okay, I think this might be a bit advanced. So let me go back on this. I'm not going to follow that process. So we are going to do it in another class. But just to show you, let me use WebFlow's default over state. So when I click on that over state, I can come to, I can change any of these elements. Say I want to change the background color to this, and then adjust the border radius to say 20 pixels. And also add some effect, say transition. Okay, they are telling me I cannot do that. So let's see what happens now. So if I remove this, aha, you can already see that it is working. So can you see? If I hover on it, it's already showing me. So because I'm using Webflow's default, that overstate is going to be automatically attached to all the class name with skill. All of the elements that has the class name with skill will automatically be affected by that overstate. So that is why all of these elements are being affected. So these are just little ways by which you can add some interactivity to your design. So I want to believe that you all like this, and it's a new way for you to go about your design. Yes. So let's, oh my God, this thing is, so let's go ahead and see. I guess we should just pause here for now and then review some of the designs that were sent to group. So next class, we are going to be doing two things. We are going to be working on interactions and then creating CMS. So you are going to get to know what CMS actually means and why you need it in your design. So Let me get back to this website, and then I think there are some other ones too. Yes, this, and then where is it? Yeah. So we have these three websites that you guys have done, and I must really, really appreciate the effort that you guys have put in to really do all of this. And I think it's a great way to start. So, yeah. So now this is Oyelaran Emmanuel, and he's a visual designer. He designs appealing graphic and digital works that works for you and your brand. Nice. So now the first thing you can notice, um, this is good. You have proper sectioning. You have the nav bar section at the top, and then you have the hero section. So it's a good design. Now, the arrangement of your elements, the structure. I noticed like you really struggled with getting this done. So I don't really know how you structured your design. I noticed that this actually looked pretty well when you, if the design is okay. I'm in full screen. So actually, so this is okay. This is okay. But then I feel this start a project should actually be together with the text element, so that you have two boxes. You have one here, and then you have the image. So that way it's better. Your website is better sectioned, because for me, if I'm coming to your website and then I see that the start project CTA is towards the right, then it looks kind of awkward to me. I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying. So that is one. Then um I wouldn't really want to really dig deep into this. Let me go to the next one. Let me go to the next one. This is also another um, design, and this is fairly a good trial. So it's a good trial. Yes, it's a good trial, and I feel the padding between the elements are quite small. They are quite small for the nav section. So you might want to give it a bit of a space so that the elements can be able to breathe better. And then looks like your text, well, those are still pretty minimal issues. But then coming here, you can see that uh, this is there isn't enough spacing between these two elements, and this is too far apart. So it looks like this space here is making this one to just break away from it as if it's not a part of it. Then the image also is just like you're adding a passport or something of that nature, and it just looks kind of detached from the website. So a better approach will have really been proper structuring of your design. So again, using the box analogy, you have a box here and then a box here. So it's just going to be left and right sections. if you also want to do it in another way, this is my own website, and I also designed this in Webflow. So you might want to like just stack the content on top of each other. So you can see. So it's just a way of, but the most important thing is understanding structure of design. So a good way to go about really learning and mastering this skill is to study good websites. That is why I always talk about Apple. You know, I want to say something. I just mentioned Apple. Visit Apple websites. Go to a lot of websites. There are good websites. You can go to linear.com, and you can even go to repertoire of websites. Let me quickly send some link to the group chat. You can find you can find great designs. For instance, on godly.website, that is one. You can go to landbook.com. So you can check out those two websites. You see inspiring designs there that are going to inspire you. And then using your knowledge of the box model that I've been talking about, you find better ways of sectioning your design and positioning them better. So let me look at the last one. Now, this is actually a better attempt. This is actually a better attempt. I'll give this, like, this is still the best of the three designs. I'm not being partial, but then the contents come out bold enough. They are bold enough, and then I can easily see them, and it is properly sectioned. So you have this section here, and you have this section here. Anyway, but then the design can still be better. Yeah, it can still be better. There are still improvements that you can make to the design, but then I want to say that this is a good start. This is really a good start. This is really a good start. So kudos to you, kudos to you. And you might really want to try and align the content of your navbar to the content you have in your hero section. So it's not a rule, like it's not like 100% you should follow it, but then it can really help your design stand out better by aligning the elements. But again, like I said, it's not like a rule that you must really follow. It's really based on your design direction. Yes. So I just wanted to show you this. I designed my website in Webflow, and you can easily see the possibilities that you can achieve using Webflow. So on hover, you can see all of this shows. You can see on hover. So it's just a bit of the things that I do, and yeah. So I guess that will be it for tonight. Tonight's class is a bit short, but I want to believe that we've gained um, more deeper insights into designing in Webflow. So before I end the class, I want to ask again if you have any question from today's class or from previous classes. And if you don't have any, possibly you have subsequent questions, I would really appreciate if you can put the questions on the group page. I will answer it there, and it can really be of help to other people. So in our next class, I mentioned two things. Yes, Emmanuel, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I have a question.
Okay.
Um, how do you make links active like that about? How do you make it active to lead to another page?
Oh, nice. Let's quickly do that. Let's do that now. Let's do that now. So I'm going to use this start a project. I'm going to use this start a project to go about doing that. Now, normally These are automatic links that we created in WebFlow. Like WebFlow actually have their own text link. Like if you search for it, text link is automatically activated for you. But then you still have to input the target page. So to do that, let's come to about and then come here, look at the second element, the second tab here. It says element settings, or you can simply press D. So if you click on it, now here you have link settings. There are 5 options there. You can either input a website address. So let's say I will input my website address at olaolowo.com. Now, so if you click on about, it's going to lead you directly to my website. If you want that page to open in another tab, just click on this icon. And if you want the page you are linking to be preloaded, then you can click prefetch or pre-render, so that when someone opens that page, it immediately opens up. It doesn't have to take time. It's going to load in the background, and when they click on it, it's going to open up. So, but I'm going to leave it at default. Some of these other options, we do not need them for now. So I'll just leave that. Then let's come here. For instance, you want to link to a particular section of a page. This is where you will now need to give an ID. You know, I talked about ID the other time. It's another way of giving names to your elements. Now, let's quickly demonstrate that. Let's come to the skill section, and under these element settings, I will give it an ID. Can you see here now? I will give it an ID. I will say skill section. So it is saved now. Now, assuming I want this work link to link directly to this section, when I click on it, I will come here and then select this page. Sorry, I will come here and select this page section. So it's going to show me all of the available page sections. Now you can see the one I entered. So I will click on it. Now let me come here. So if I click on this work, look at what happens. It automatically brings me to this page. So if I also click on about, look at what happens. Okay, I've not published it. Let me publish it. And then let me open the website. Let me open it. Okay. So if I click on here, I'm not sure I saved this. Let me go back and see. I'm not sure I saved it. So if I click on about, oh, I think this is it. So let me enter. So if I come back here now and preview and click here, you can see now that it's going to open the particular web page. So Emmanuel, I hope this answers your question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So yes, so that would be it for tonight. If you have further questions, you can ask on the group page. So on Friday, we are going to have a class. There's going to be class by 8 p.m. And we are going to be doing two things. The number one thing we are doing is to create CMS content, add CMS to our portfolio website, and then create our own interactions. our custom interactions in Webflow. So those two things we are going to be doing. So once we get a grasp of those two things, next week we are going to be rounding up our class. And if you have other questions, I will be ready to entertain them. So that will be it for me tonight. Thank you for coming to the class tonight, and I'll see you on Friday.
Good night, sir.
Thank you so much.